I'm going to go through another one of these cases of die-cast cars that I have in my house. Now, this is a Matchbox case, and it looks really good. It's dated 1983. It has pretty cool graphics on the front. So you'd think that there's going to be a lot of good stuff in here, but unfortunately, there isn't. Yeah, I already peeked. So we're going to open this up, and what do I see? A bunch of Chinese junk. It's not to say anything bad about the Chinese people. I have Chinese friends. They're wonderful people. But for some reason, they make really bad toys. I guess they make all toys. So if you buy a good toy, it's Chinese, but if you buy a bad toy, it's Chinese too. These are bad toys. Let's start right here. The 300ZX. I had a friend who had one of these things. He bought it used, he paid too much for it, he drove it for a while, he sold it, he still had money that he owed on it, so he spent another 2 years, I think, paying off a car that he no longer owned. His was red, this one's orange, I like the graphics, but look at the crappy quality of this thing. It's junk. Some kind of old Roadster, I don't know what that is. The SEL3, right here, I think this is supposed to be a cross between a Mercedes SEL and a BMW M3. I could be wrong. I love this one. I think it's supposed to be like a sort of a Rolls-Royce type of thing, but the graphics on it. Ayo. Sando. What the hell does Ayo Sando mean? I don't know. But I want to paint my car so it looks like this. Lamborghini, Italian car, made in China. Kind of a cool casting, but I think Hot Wheels or Matchbox would have done it a lot better. And then here's the Simpson number 2. Just some Formula race car. Simpson on the back, Goodyear on the front. Lightning bolts on the side. Not bad. Not good. Here's one of these tow trucks. I had one of these in the other box that I opened, and if you press down on the wheels, these lights will, it makes some siren sounds and the lights light up. This one doesn't work. Oh well. Here is the Arrow. Little race car, and it says Arrow on the back of it. See that blue light? Right on the front of the car. There's a blue reflection, and now that's not, now it is. That's my skylight in my living room. I didn't mean for that to happen, but it happened. This one, this car, I don't know, I think this is like a, it's like a Toyota MR2. Is that what this thing's called? But I love the graphic. Coming now. Coming now. This thing's crossing the finish line at a race. Yeah, it's coming now. It's coming right across the finish line. Here's your Volkswagen convertible, which seems to have already converted. I will confess that I popped this thing off. See, I shot this video earlier, but halfway through the video, I got like a, I think a moth flew down my throat or something because I started coughing. So this roof was on, and then I pulled it off. But now it won't stay on anymore. So that's it for the cheap Chinese VW. Now here, we have a go-kart. This is one of those friction cars where you spin the wheels back and wind it up and then they go. It's kind of a cool look. I like this sort of unpainted driver. It reminds me of when you get an old model kit, it'd have the driver in it and you could put the driver in or not. But this thing's just, that's just like garbage. Don't know what this is. Really kind of a cool casting. I like the graphics. See, I figured out that if I hold my hands like this, then the camera focuses better because it's focusing on my hands. Whereas if I hold it off like this, then, you know, sometimes it gets a little squirrely. Big 4x4 pickup truck. I don't know what that says. Design promotion? Design pro... Imagine the job that Matchbox or Hot Wheels would have done on this car. They would have done a much better job. This one's got to be one of my favorites in this box. Cheap Chinese, poorly made Mustang Fastback. But look at the graphic. I heart New York. I too heart New York. I really do. I'm not sure I would drive a salmon-colored Mustang Fastback with I Heart New York spray painted on it, but if somebody did drive this, I would certainly honk at them and give them a thumbs up. Chevy Nomad wagon. I guess I like the graphics on the front, but, you know, if you're gonna make a legend, why not make it right? Here's a 57 Chevy. Now this is a legitimate casting from a legitimate company. This is from, I don't know if we're going to be able to see it. Maybe we can. Monogram Models. Why is Monogram Models making little 57 Chevys? I don't know. I'm sure I could Google it. But I'm more interested in this. See that blue? There's my skylight. Now if we look long enough, I live near an Air Force base, and they fly those C-4 cargo planes. And they're loud, and they're big, and they fly really low and slow, and they're really cool. And sometimes, when they go past, you can see them out the skylight. I don't think I'm going to be lucky enough to have that happen, but no skylight, skylight. Now here's something that's equally cool and terrible. This is somebody's version of a Matchbox. Matchbox cars, obviously, are based around the concept of a little car that comes in a matchbox. But inside you have 3 knockoff micro machines. So we have the Micro Racer carry case, which looks like a Matchbox. This is not textured. You couldn't light a match on that. But inside you have, let's see, what do you have? A Porsche? Well, I'm going to take out, here we go. Little race car. Gotta love that. Little Porsche. I mean, they didn't do a terrible job on these. But they're just... Why steal other people's concepts? And I wonder if these are leftover Micro Machines molds in some factory and they just stamped these out. Little 4x4 truck. This is cool. I don't know enough about Micro Machines to know if they ever had them in a Matchbox, but I doubt it. Somebody came up with an idea. It was just a ripoff of 2 different ideas. So let's dig into the bottom of this case and see what we can find other than dirt. Maybe I should have vacuumed this thing out first. Well, it was in someone else's attic, not mine. Alright, let's see what we got. Pink Porsche. These are fantastic wheels. What the... Seriously? How can a kid play with a car where the wheels don't even roll? If you buy your kid this, you're a bad parent. Don't buy your kid a pack of 4 or 5 really horrible cars that cost $1. Buy one good car that costs $1. Hot Wheels or Matchbox. Johnny Lightning. There's tons of them. Here... I love the color on this thing, and I like the weird sort of boxy look. I would like to just have one of these cars to drive around, but what's up with this graphic? This looks like... It looks like something on an old Atari. Playing Space Invaders with these weird lightning bolts. This thing is as cool as it is hideous. And let's see. Is that another Porsche? Number 11? The lack of effort that they put into these graphics gives them a certain charm. I'll give it to you. I like those graphics. This, what is this? I think this is a Volvo. A die-cast Volvo. It's like a slap in the face. Volvo's supposed to be a really specific car. You're in a Volvo aficionado. It's high quality. It's safe. And they just painted a 1 on the hood. That, you know, that could be a cool casting, though. I wish somebody else would make that. This thing, I don't know. It's like a race car that looks like a dune buggy because they paid no attention at all to detail. Here's the Horizon car. Another version of a 57 Chevy. I don't know what Horizon is supposed to be. I don't know what this is supposed to mean. It's kind of a stubby little car. That's kind of cool. Maybe I should put my biases away and stop being so angry about the cheap construction of these cars and just enjoy them for what they are, which is really, really unintentionally kitschy stuff. Oh, the Sport Racer. All right, it is what it is. It looks like a you know, a sweatshirt that some kid would have worn in the 80s who didn't play tennis but who wanted you to think he did. Here we go. This is words don't even describe this. I heart Rolls. It's a Rolls Royce. A Rolls Royce that says I heart Rolls on it, and it has flowers arranged in a heart pattern and a flower on the trunk. I guess that's a daisy. Can you imagine someone owning a Rolls Royce and putting I heart Rolls on it? Who is thinking this stuff up? I would like to do this with a real Rolls Royce. Okay, here's a forklift. Looks like it's broken. Well, who cares about that? This one's upside down, but I can tell it's... Oh, I thought it was pink. Now I'm sad. What is this supposed to be? A Ferrari F40? But it says 37, so it's a Ferrari F37. Again, these graphics are just... They're so bad that they're good. I'm in love with these dumb graphics on these dumb cars. Look at this thing. What is this? This is like an MR2? Is that even a car? Is this a Fiero? I think it's an MR2. And look at this goofy sort of Phoenix, Firebird, Thunderbird kind of thing on the logo. How can you deny that? That is phenomenal. And here, I want to say this is a Ford GT40. I'm not super well versed in this stuff, but an orange car with a big silver number 5. If I were rich enough, I would buy all these cars and I would have them painted sloppily with these exact graphics on them. Jay Leno, do this. You're rich. You have a lot of cars. All right. Roadway Express. Can you read that? Wow. My camera, you know, these cameras are amazing. Remember back in the 80s when these cars were made, or when this case was made? 1983, we had the Kodak disc camera, which was really cool as a novelty, but... Roadway Express has a phone number on it. ACC 2202. I'm really, really tempted to call ACC 2202. Why don't you do it? That is a cool looking truck. I think this is called a cab over. What is that, a Peterbilt? I'll say it is. It could be a Mack. It could be something else. I'll call it a Peterbilt. That's fantastic. It reminds me of the truck stop. This thing, this is a casting that they reuse a bunch of times. These 3 trucks right here. Ugh. I think it's all pretty much the same casting. And this one is just a chassis. This one has a cement mixer on it. See, I used to watch the Beverly Hillbillies in reruns, obviously. And they had a thing in the backyard called a cement pond. To me, it was always cement until I watched little Granny Clampett call it cement. So this has a cement or cement mixer on it. This one, let's just say you probably don't want to put actual gasoline in there because it would leak, and gasoline can be kind of flammable. But, you know, it's something. It's something for a kid to play with for 8 seconds until it falls apart and he chokes to death on it. I take that back. I don't even want to think about a kid choking to death, but if you're making these cheap Chinese cars, you probably should think about that. Now here, this is what's called a mini stomper. I like these. I have a whole bunch of these in a box somewhere. I think these were released by McDonald's or Burger King, like a Happy Meal toy, and they're based obviously on Shaper Stompers, which were ridiculously cool little battery operated. And this doesn't have a battery in it because it's just a, let's see, Stomper, patent pending, not made in Minneapolis, but Hong Kong. See, toys used to be made in Hong Kong instead of China. If a toy says Hong Kong or Made in USA, it's probably a pretty good toy. Now, here is, I think, that same casting again, more times. So, we have refrigeration, sanitation, and refrigeration. See, what happens is if you don't put your food in the refrigerator and apply refrigeration to your food, then your food rots and you have to leave it out for the sanitation truck to take it away. Maybe that's the point that they're trying to make. Maybe it's about reduce, reuse, recycle, don't waste food. Maybe that's what these are like a political message when they sell these packs of cars at the dollar store. This is an allegory for the wastefulness of Americans. Maybe not. Maybe they're just crappy, cheap die-cast cars. And last, and probably the best out of this whole batch, is this bulldozer. It's missing its tread, but they usually are. And this is made by a little old company called Hot Wheels. See, if you're in the Midwest, it's Hot Wheels, H-A-H-T. I'm not from the Midwest. I don't want lint on my Hot Wheels. We pronounce it hot. Or I guess if you're really deep in New York, it's like hot dog. You know, I'm going to get a hot dog and a cup of coffee. Hot Wheels. So it's Hot Wheels in the Midwest, Hot Wheels down in Long Island, and Hot Wheels everywhere else. So you have this Hot Wheels bulldozer. It's probably not anything of any consequence. It's probably not worth anything, but it is kind of a cool thing, and it has this kind of scary looking, these are supposed to be like the hydraulic struts or something. Little engine in there, a lot of detail. This is a quality, well-made toy. So that's a good place to end it because it's the last thing in the case. Unfortunately, this case full of toys is pretty much worthless. The case itself is probably worth a few bucks. I was hoping to find something better in here, but you know what? It's all good. There's pretty much no such thing as a bad die-cast car, even if we're talking about the Hot Wheels bulldozer or the number 5 cheap Chinese F40. It's all fun, so thanks for playing along.